This is something you all have been requesting for a long time. After much effort, I finally found 3 stories that take place during school lockdowns. It was a typical boring Friday in calculus class, the 7th period, which meant the week was almost over and spring break was finally upon us. I could tell everyone was getting antsy in their seats. Unlike many of my friends who had tests that day, we didn't have one. Our laid-back teacher decided to play games with us on Sporkle.com while we were engaged in a brand logo quiz. I remember the exact moment it happened. Right after my friend answered a question, Adidas, the dean's voice crackled through the loudspeaker. He sounded frantic as he instructed all teachers to go into lockdown and assured us this was not a drill. I felt chills run down my spine as our usually calm teacher sprang into action, turning off the lights and ushering us into the back corner of the room. We sat in silence for about 2 minutes until the usual buzzing from a panel in the back of the room stopped, indicating the school must have cut the power. We exchanged worried glances, realizing the seriousness of the situation. A few minutes later, we heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs down the hallway. 2 girls in our class began to cry, amplifying our fear. As the screams drew closer, the man started banging on the lockers, shouting, "I'll kill all of you." In that moment, I feared for my life. Our teacher shushed us as we looked at each other, trying to gauge our peers' reactions. The banging then shifted to our classroom door, and one of the crying girls screamed, "No!" The pounding intensified as the man yelled, "Open up!" Now, 2 girls were openly sobbing. It felt like an eternity that he pounded on the door, but eventually he moved on, continuing down the hallway, screaming like a madman until his voice faded. About 10 minutes later, though it felt like half an hour, the dean returned to the loudspeaker, explaining the situation. He revealed that a mentally unstable person had entered the building and assaulted the woman at the front desk, causing her to flee in terror. The staff wasn't sure if the man was armed. At that time, our school lacked security cameras and proper measures, leaving it vulnerable to such incidents. The staff had searched the hallways and classrooms, but couldn't find him. The dean instructed teachers to resume classes, keeping all doors locked and not allowing any students to leave for any reason. The most disturbing part was that one of the janitors on the night shift found the man sleeping in a storage closet near the back of the school. Rumors circulated among my peers that a .44 Magnum was sticking out of his pocket. The janitor must have inadvertently disturbed him, perhaps by leaving the closet door open, because by the time police arrived, the man had vanished. To this day, my entire class has no idea if he was ever found, but I like to think he's receiving the help he needs. My school has 2 lunch periods, the first for all 6th graders and some 7th graders, and the second for the remaining 7th graders and all 8th graders. The lockdown occurred in early October on an overcast, rainy day. During the first lunch period, I heard 4 loud booms. Initially, I thought it was thunder, but the lunch crowd erupted in screams. I assumed they were overreacting, but then campus security rushed in, yelling for everyone to go to the multi-purpose room. Students in line had to discard their lunches and come inside. My friends and I joined a large group of students in the multi-purpose room, curious about what was happening. The room was spacious, with a back wall made of glass. As we were ushered in, security covered the glass with curtains, and adults stood guard at every exit. My friend Eric, along with the rest of us, asked an adult what was going on. When he returned, he said, "You know those houses right in front of TMS? There's a mentally unstable man barricaded in front of his house, threatening to commit suicide and kill the cops if he's evicted. He was walking around outside watching kids in a creepy way. It turned out the man was a registered sex offender, making matters worse. We were stuck in the multi-purpose room for a full hour, taking up 2 periods. After the situation was resolved, we were escorted back to our classrooms one by one. I later learned that the man lived next to my friend Brandy, who recounted a previous Halloween when she saw him at his window, cutting his arm and writing in his own blood, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." At the time, people, including Brandy, assumed it was just a Halloween prank. However, after this incident, we realized he was truly dangerous, and we were relieved he never came near us. Now, I'm 22 years old, fresh out of college, and I recently got a job as a computer intern at my old high school, working in the messy and disorganized basement. However, there's a small, well-equipped office down there with 3 nice desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat-screen TV, and air conditioning, a luxury not available to students or teachers. I got this job because 3 of my former computer teachers genuinely liked me, and they helped me secure it. Everything was going well until something happened a few weeks ago. My 2 co-workers, Dave and Gary, were upstairs working on papers while I was eating my sandwich during my lunch break. Suddenly, I received a call from a woman in the front office informing me that the school was on lockdown because someone possibly armed had entered the building. There wasn't much I could do except turn off the lights since my little office didn't have a door, just a large opening, and the basement door lacked a working lock. For my safety, I turned off all the lights and my computer screen. I kept my phone on the desk, texting Gary and Dave, but they didn't respond. I sat in the dark, playing games on my phone for about 20 minutes, waiting for a call to resume work. I had no idea what was happening upstairs, but I wasn't allowed to make any calls until the lockdown was over. Then, the basement door creaked open. The sound echoed through the basement and into my office. I sat up, wondering if I should call out to Gary or Dave, eager for information. Someone came running down the stairs, and their footsteps approached my office. I pushed my chair away and crawled under the desk. A figure entered the office but didn't turn on the lights. I can't describe the fear I felt. It was as if one wrong move could cost me my life. Suddenly, my phone dinged with a text message, and I felt my heart drop. The footsteps drew closer, and I finally dove from under the desk, begging whoever it was not to kill me. Just then, someone grabbed my arm and pulled me up. It was a man in a red plaid shirt and a black cap. "It's okay," he said. "I'm just hiding down here with you." "What's going on up there?" I whispered. He ignored my question and asked if there was an exit down here. I pointed, saying, "Yeah, around that way." Before he could do anything else, I asked, "Who are you?" There was a brief silence before he explained he had come to pick up his son when a teacher told him to hide. After his explanation, I checked my phone and saw a text from Dave. It read, "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I was about to read that text out loud to the man when I looked up and felt my stomach drop. The man seemed to notice my suspicious stare. Panicking, I thought only of running upstairs. A gunshot echoed through the basement, and I heard a bullet ricochet off something metal in the darkness. But thankfully, it missed me, and I made it upstairs. Fortunately, police were waiting at all exits, including the basement, and they apprehended the man as soon as he opened the door. The good news was that our teacher, Mr. Buckley, survived the gunshot. It was later revealed that the man and Mr. Buckley had some unresolved issues, but the details were never disclosed. All we know is that Mr. Buckley didn't deserve such a violent reaction. The sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind.